And we are live. Welcome to another episode of Webinar Wednesday. Today we're going to be talking about Pinterest. It is so exciting. And we've got Matt Parker from Pinformative, who's going to be sharing how Amazon sellers, e-commerce sellers can drive external traffic to their listings using Pinterest. Very, very exciting stuff. Margaret and Kevin, how's your week going so far?
Well, it's going well. Just let's hope if we drop out, guys, we've got a storm happening down here in Victoria tonight. So we've been a bit unstable on the internet the last hour or so. So apologies if Kevin and I vanish off the screen and leave Meg Latour.
Yeah, we've been having connectivity issues. And
Kevin's frozen now.
I'll just like to say, like we've been, as usual, very busy. Very busy with one thing and another, and things are progressing with a lot of different things that we've got on the drawing board for everybody in the upcoming sort of days, weeks, months.
Exactly, and our mastermind is
exciting draw to do now, haven't you?
Exactly. Yep. But before that, our India sourcing mastermind is starting next week. So if you haven't applied yet, please do so at indiasourcing.net/mastermind. We are starting next week. We've got a great response so far. We've got so many people who've sent in their applications. We're so excited to be able to, help you on your India sourcing journey. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We've got all of our ecom experts and our resident coaches ready to go. Super, super exciting. So Christine says, the mastermind sounds exciting. Yes, it is amazing. It's going to be so fantastic. We've got a whole new platform set up where you can log in and you'll have access to all of the content, and it's personalized. It's cool. You'll really love it when you see it. So, but if you haven't done so, please go ahead and apply. When you do apply, we will approve you, and then you will do the payments and everything. And you do get a 14-day trial when you don't have to make a payment. So if you don't like it, you can get out of it and not continue if you prefer. So there's a trial period. You can go ahead and do that for sure. So and even if you don't sign up now, you can sign up later as well. So it's not like we're closing the doors to the mastermind, but it'd be nice for you to start when we are exactly starting the mastermind with the first session. Of course, if you join later, you'll be able to get all of the recordings as well. So having said that, the next thing that we have to do, Kevin, are you muted?
You're muted.
I'd just like to add that, we've got the two first for the mastermind, the two first sessions, but we really want to, in 2022, come out of the gun firing, to start off 2022 and a whole new year, put all the bad things behind us with all what's been happening in the past, and start with a clean sheet and hopefully we can all build successful brands from with 2022.
And India, here we come.
Hopefully. I got approved, but I haven't received anything on payment yet. Yes, Christine, we are working on the back end, and you should receive something either today or tomorrow morning, the latest. Okay, so before we bring Matt on, we also have to select winners for answer and win. So we had asked you a question. There was a rug that we had shown in a video, and we had asked you what was the name of that Indian rug? What was the Indian name of that rug? And it is called Chindi, Chindi. It's an eco-friendly rug that's made from jute and recycled cotton fabric. So very beautiful rug, and it's quite popular on Amazon as well. So let's see who is going to win a free ticket to India Sourcing Workshop worth $279. So Kevin, you ready?
Spin that wheel.
Let's go. And the lucky winner is...
There we go. Whoa, Laura.
Paul. Yay. Congratulations, Laura.
Well done.
We'll be in touch with you, Laura. And you'll be able to get access to India Sourcing Workshop for absolutely free. Okay, awesome. So let's get started. I'm going to invite Matt on screen here. Hi, Matt. How's it going?
Hi. Yeah, not bad. Thanks for inviting me today, Megala, Margaret, Kevin. It's really I've been looking forward to this one, actually. I'm interested to talk about warm traffic towards people who are drop shipping and things like that. So, yeah, thank you.
Excellent. Yeah. Good to
Terrific.
see you.
Brilliant.
Pleasure.
Awesome. Yes. And a lot of the people in our community, Matt, of course, are sourcing from India, and they're doing private label. They're building their own brands, for Amazon. So it'd be very interesting to learn how they can drive external traffic to their own listings on Amazon. I think that's something that people will be very interested in. But before we get into it, do you want to give an introduction about yourself? I mean, you have been selling on Amazon in e-commerce since way back when, but just give a little bit of an introduction.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, my background is primarily multimedia programming and design, so that's why Pinterest appeals to my sort of skill set. That's why I've taken this on board. But initially, I used to do that for a living. I used to work in London. I've worked with Universal Studios and BBC, and then I moved over to e-commerce. I took that skill set with me and combined the two together. So I started off doing my own brands back in 2009, I think it was, on Amazon, eBay. Amazon came a bit later, but basically, yeah, I've been around for a while, about 15 years, and I've seen the ropes. And I see people within sort of, for example, Amazon. I see them as kind of like a surgeon of Amazon if they're like a PPC agency. I'm kind of more like a veterinarian. I like to see the skeletal systems of all the different sides of marketplaces and social media. Marie, my partner, who on the Pinformative group, Marie and Daniel think that I'm nuts. I'm pretty certain of it because I just like knowledge. I'm just very diversified in my approach to things, and I think that because Pinterest is like a hybrid, it's kind of a in the middle man. It just suits where I've come from. So kind of my background is part of where I am today, and that's what's led up to it, really. And that's kind of it. So hope that's enough.
Yeah,
that's excellent.
That's fantastic.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
Right. So first of all, Matt, why Pinterest? Specifically for Amazon sellers?
Specifically for Amazon sellers, I mean, there's kind of a lot of answers that would answer the same questions for different kinds of sellers. Like I've spoken to big commerce engineers, Amazonian engineers, and they come in from different angles, but same questions. How do we get affiliated traffic flows? How do we move our products, for example, from Amazon to Pinterest? How do we pin that? All the common questions are there. So I would say that if you're coming from an Amazon background, the first important thing is to make sure that you understand simply how to pin your items across, and it's quite a simple process, really. A lot of people miss it, and I mean I know I did, and it's quite it's pretty much in your face. If you look at the buy box underneath, you've got your social media icons. You'll see the Pinterest icon. As long as you've signed up for a business account with Pinterest, which doesn't take long at all, you can engage in your inventory. And then, or even pin other people's items, but you've got to be careful with that. I'm not going to endorse that today because you can get deactivated. So I'm not going to go down that route. But if you wanted to, one thing I will clear up recently, somebody in another cast asked me a question. I said about pinning 4 items from your Amazon account. Just be careful; it's not the same item 4 times. I just want to clear that up because some people will take that in a way where you can pin an ultimate amount of times and you can't, because obviously what you've got to be careful of is not understanding the marketplace is that it's kind of like Amazon. If you listed the same item twice with the same hero images, you can get it pulled. So you've got to be careful with the TOS on Pinterest. It's very different as well. I advise anyone going across that they read those thoroughly because they are different than Amazon. But yeah, going back to it, sorry. So when you're pinning, you just grab hold of your item, click on the Pinterest logo underneath the buy box, and then you can literally just pin your items across to your business hub, and that's it. That's as simple as that. There's not much more to it. And the thing is, once you've got the pins across there, you can leave them running. They're immortal pins, so you can leave them running constantly. And if you want to put some ads on there, you can do. But it's kind of like, why wouldn't you want to do that if you've got, say, 20 items? It's going to take you a couple of hours and just leave them running. And you'd never know what's going to happen because they've got the potential to go viral. So,
Okay, so what you're saying is the first thing that people should do is pin their own products in Amazon. So
Yeah,
that's the number
I
one
believe
thing.
so. Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So you also talk about driving or creating building up an audience before a product is launched. So
Yeah.
how did you Pinterest helps with that?
Okay, so there's so many ways. I'm trying to sort of streamline this best, because you've got idea pins, you've got product pins, you've got service pins, you've got used to be story pins, was idea pins. I don't want to over saturate somebody with this, so I'll try and narrow it down in the best way that I think personally you could do this. So if, for example, I appreciate you guys obviously doing what you do, and you're waiting, for example, you're waiting for stock to come in, which I know can take a while at the moment with the demographics of what's going on around the world. But say you are waiting for something, what you could do is warm up the audience with, for example, a blog, an AI blog with pins that explains sort of like the top 10 tips of how you can style your hair, for example. Now, if you engage an audience in that manner and you get them on your boards, when your product drops, all you have to do is put the link into your products. So you've already got people engaged in, oh, what are these top 10 tips? You can then go, okay, well, here's our products afterwards. So you kind of, it's warm traffic. You're warming them up with different techniques and methods. If I could just bring up this slide, if that's okay. That's what I was going to move on to, if that's possible. Yeah, thank you. So, for example, this is a toy company. Toys are quite a they're quite a big product on Pinterest. Anything that's lifestyle, anything down this sort of route as well. Toys, they're quite a high yielding product on Pinterest. So, for example, with this, it says 100 toys for kids, and at the top you'll see, okay, it's not for Amazonians, but you'll see there's a link to the website. Now, this could be a link to your products on Amazon, and you could cross-reference these things on a board that ranks on Google. So not only are you ranking on Pinterest, you're ranking on Google as well with the weight of the board. So if you were to put, say, 3, 4, 5 idea pins on a board, then your board would go up on Google searching, for example, toys for kids, but also you could cross-platform and put a link in or a pin in there to your products as well. So it's kind of the ultimate place to play with terms of service. Whereas you're coming from a rigid background with eBay and Amazon, as I'm on there. I know that you sort of streamlined the way that you can't sell hair product services with the top 10 tips. Here you can. They're saying, look, you can do whatever you want as long as you don't do it in an unethical manner. I hope that makes sense. That's how you would warm them up. There's a multitude of different ways, really. But it's kind of like.
Would you create? So how would you start? So let's start from the beginning. I have a brand. I've just started. So first of all, you've got to open a business account on Pinterest, right? That's the most important thing. Don't do it with a personal account. And
don't do it with a personal account. No. Yeah, because the thing is with business account, you get options of the analytics as usual, the kind of things that you get with other marketplaces, but also you can't pin across from Amazon. So it's very important, but you don't really need. I know that there's a stringent processes with Amazon to become a business seller. It's not like that at the moment with Pinterest, so it's very easy to set up. And then once you've got that, you've got that on board, then you can start building your boards, because it's very important. You can't pin unless you've got boards, or you pin into other people's boards. So that's the first point: is create your boards. Remember,
so how do we
boards.
Sorry to interrupt, but
sorry, it's okay.
Can you give some tips on how to create boards? So let's say if I have, a brand, should I create boards based on subcategories or based on activities, or how do you organize the boards? Or it's just
this is why it's it's a great question, because one thing that people, especially, myself as an Amazonian, approaching this initially, I was like, I can't get my head around the fact that it's not categorized, because the idea of Pinterest is interests. And so you've already got that marker, you've already got that target audience. You just need to put it down as an interest. If you think of it like this, the Gen Zs, when we've done our research, primarily, they're actually buying differently through this. The way that they're buying, which puts me to shame, because when I was 20 years old, I wasn't organized. I was a mess. I was a complete nightmare. These Gen Zs have got a different way of buying and thinking. So what they're doing, for example, say they're going on a skiing trip, they're looking at, they're creating a board pinning all the things that they're interested in or want to wear, and then buying it in 4 months' time as the whole skiing trip. That is a totally different way of buying. And for me, I would never buy like that. I'm still brand driven. I come from, I'm 39. I come from a background where I still buy, but you've also got another thing where you've got the influencer market and people buying off influencers, not because of the product, but because of who it is. So there's so many changes happening underneath the bonnet that I can see anyway. And I think that what's important with the boards is you aim for the interest of the people that you're going for. So if it's toys, look for the specific toy that you want to sell. Unicorn toy, dinosaur toy. Maybe create a board dedicated to dinosaurs, because dinosaurs is a really trending topic, and you can be, this is the point, you can be so inventive, but it's finding your own creative ways that work. And that's why obviously people get scared with these. I mean, I was scared to death when I saw this. I was like, how many things can you do with this? Where do you start? But as you go along, you'll find your own techniques that will work for you. So I would say with boards, it's very important that you do something that's aimed at the interests of the buyers that you would think would buy through that board, basically.
And how many boards should we start with? Is it okay to start with just one, or should we have a couple different? Because most people who are starting out, they don't have a whole range of products, right? Maybe they start with 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 products. So how do we do that in terms of boards?
The beauty of it is that you see, you've got 2 angles coming in from that. So you've got obviously putting your product on the board, but you've also got an angle of how do I rank on Google? So if somebody searches on Google, for example, how do I get found on Google with the URL with the board? So you've got to look at it from 2 angles in that. You would pin your product to the board. That's very important, obviously. But you can also, what I'm trying to say is that, and it kind of goes against the grain of a lot of people. Even when I say it to myself, I don't believe it sometimes. You kind of get a pin, put your URL of your product on there. But how do you push that? Okay, so for example, say I'm a camper van company and I've come up with a clean hack of how to adapt my aerial on my camper van. So, and it's trending because that is something people are looking for, not the product, but the actual idea. So what you could do is do an idea pin and then have your product pin next to it on the same board for camper vans, if that makes sense. So you're kind of looking not just for what people are looking for the product, but looking for their interests. That's the whole point, the whole demographical global interest. And if your board encapsulates all these different angles, you could be hitting a lot of big markets that didn't even realize they wanted the products, but it's there, It's like an aerial for a camper van. I mean, I've got a caravan up in the lakes and I know that it's a nightmare getting reception. And I know there's products out there at the moment, for example, a Wi-Fi router. Some people don't know that they exist, and there's certain types that don't exist. If you showed somebody how to rearrange their aerial, point it in a certain direction and go, well, you could make it 3 times quicker if you bought this product, bang, you're on Amazon, your product sold. So it's, I hope that clears things. It's aiming for people's interests. And I think the one thing I will say, because you've got that already, we're finding that you're engaging with the correct people if you do it correctly, because you've already got their interests at heart, instead of aiming for a category. So, yeah.
So when you say the SEO URL, are you meaning like that you need a canonical URL, Amazon? Is that what you're talking about? Or is it just...
Sorry, no. I mean, the actual board itself gets ranked on Google quite heavily, the board. So
right,
if you've got the board, this is why I'm more interested. I am actually more interested in the algorithm personally. I know that Marie does content. I'm more algorithmic driven. So from my point of view, when I look at the board, I think it's very important not just to go for the interest, but also look at the idea of, well, would that be searched on Google? Would that board name be searched on Google? And I think that if you can hit that sweet spot in between the URL and the actual interest, you're hitting both the sort of the 2 funnels that I was talking about initially. So I hope that makes sense.
Yes, for sure. And then, so once you have all of your boards set up, do you start pinning other people's pins, or how do you keep your board active and interesting while at the same time, because you don't want to drown your own product, right? You want people to see your own product, but you can't keep pinning the same product again and again, or can you?
You can actually repin your product to other affiliated boards of similar interests. However, you have to be careful that you don't spam the system, because if you did that a million times a day, you end up with megainterest.com instead of pinterest.com. You've got to be careful. I mean, on theoretical purposes, their servers would be so overloaded, they'd probably end up going under in a day if that was the case, So from a technical point of view. So, I mean, if you look at it this way, that with regards to I'm trying to get it across in a non-technical way, but I understand what you're saying. It's basically you're constantly hitting a warm audience. I think Pinterest is predominantly a warm audience. I don't know whether that will change, but I think that's what you've got to look at it as. It's not a place in my experience, because we've tested this for 8 months in a lot of different ways. I mean, a lot of people think I'm crazy when I've come forward, because I've got 400,000 ASINs on an autonomy-based system that I built over 8 years. And that's why I decided to do this, because I thought, what a perfect place to have a bit of a play around. This is like a playground for me, to be quite honest. But it's the ultimate playground for somebody who does coding this thing, because the TOS is fantastic. But when you look at that, and we've been pinning 15 times a day, you've got to be careful with repinning, because you can get your account deactivated, which in common terms to other marketplaces is suspension. But they're not really strict in that they know that can happen quite frequently if you don't know what you're doing. So they won't actually sort of pull your account. I think people need to know that. So don't be scared. That's the point. Don't be scared of trying new things with Pinterest, because I know full well with the engineers over in San Francisco, they too are trying things constantly. So when you repin, my advice to the audience is repin once or twice a day once you get your products on there. And then you will engage with other interests, and your demographics and analytics will probably rise, because you're finding the right interest. If you don't, you'll know, because it won't happen. That's it's kind of common ground, really. So yeah, my advice is pin your item. And if you want to go down the route of, okay, I've only got 5 products, there's 2 other routes, which is blog. So you could do a blog, because you can do unlimited pins to a blog with your product, which is interesting. And the second thing is repin daily. Just do one, get on in the morning, do one repin, see how it goes, because I don't think it takes a lot of time out of your day if you just get a bit of a habit of maybe spending 2 minutes to repin. That's my own personal opinion.
So when you say repin, you're basically looking for other products, other pins on Pinterest that are related to your board, and then you're just pinning them on your board, right?
You're pinning it onto their board. You can pin onto their board.
Oh, you're pinning your own product onto their board.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know we could do that.
You can do a lot of crazy things. I know. But you got to be careful.
I think we need to explain that a little bit, because people are a bit unclear about how repinning works.
Yeah, no, it's no problem. I mean, with regards to repinning, you don't really repin too often. You've just got to do it sort of in drip feeds, really. So I'm just going to get some data for you just for a second. I'm not going to put this live, but I'm going to go through an explanation that I've kind of got here, if that's okay. It might help the audience a bit more. So repinning the content on Pinterest, it helps to promote your business in numerous ways. Now, how to repin is you go onto your item and you repin your content, but you're repinning it onto it's basically building brand awareness or product awareness on other people's boards. And most content creators understand each other. They might return the favor by repinning on your board. So you might have a backflow going on, because if you think of it on a common ground, you may be with somebody who is doing a similar item, and they go, hey, if you repin on my board, can I repin on yours? Okay, yeah. You've got heavy traffic. Google, bang, suddenly you're going up with the algorithm, because somebody might come on. You've got going off tangent with the repinning. Repinning can be really potentially powerful with viral pins. Now, viral pins are kind of like TikTok and Snapchat. If you imagine you've got your viewport, now each pin is like a viewport on your mobile phone. If you repin something and it gets to a board where somebody's a high influencer, or got that sort of stature or got that weight, that can have a huge influence on your board. But you've got to be very careful because there's so many people out there who aren't ready to take that hit. Because imagine if you did that with somebody who is a huge influencer and suddenly you had 20,000 products. You're like, oh, I can't cope with this. Kind of like the TikTok scenario where there's no scalability, and suddenly you've got 20,000 items to sell, so that you've sold because you've affiliated with somebody who's famous and they've just promoted you. So it's kind of, you've got to be careful.
It's a happy problem to have.
It is. Well, I'm having that happy problem right now. I've discussed that with you before we got on camera, and believe me, I'm dying inside my own face right now. It's really good, but I like it. But yeah, I see what you're saying. But also, you've got to be careful with stock flows, as you know. If you can't meet that demand, it can put you under as well. You've got to be really careful. So if you're going to pin, I'd say be really careful who you repin to. Maybe approach them. You can message them directly saying, "Can I repin?" And they might respond in kind, saying, "Yeah, sure. Can I repin to you?" It's all kind of like a strategy, really, and it's kind of observing and assessing: is it worth repinning there? What will they respond in kind to my repin? What kind of weight will I get with that? There's questions there to be answered that I would say maybe you need 5 questions in front of yourself to think every day and look at those 5 questions. Go, okay, will I get traffic from them? Will I get this from them? Will they promote my products? Will that work on their board? And as you find these things, it's only going to build you on the algorithm. It's only going to organically grow. And then you can start looking at ads, I would advise, but I think organically there's lots of potential. There really is from what we've seen. So
when you say, think about how they will help you. So are we actually contacting these people and asking them for permission? Is that what you're saying? Or because, or are we just going to their board and pinning our products over there?
You can do, but I would advise anybody to ask, especially if it's a heavy board, because it's A, polite, and B, you don't know, you might get more from that than you initially intended from experience, because we've been doing that. We've been contacting various boards on strategy and saying, can we pin there? Yes, okay, we'll follow, because you've got followers as well. You've got followers like Instagram, for example, so that carries weight on your whole account, and I won't go into kind of the Instagram side of it, because I think this in itself is probably people's heads are going on. What there's so much going on here.
Hey, Matt, mine is.
Yeah, same here. I'm trying to figure out.
I'm just thinking. I'm going to call you tomorrow morning and say, Matt, hold my hand, and please just guide me for the next sort of couple of days, so I can, sort of get this firmly implanted in my brain.
Kevin, you could get their course. They've got a new course.
Yeah,
you could get their course.
Well, I didn't want to plug the course, but yeah, we have. But the reason I've done that is because, well, this is the thing. You've asked a really important question, but I'm myself, Daniel, Marie, and other people that have done the course are trying to make this streamlinable for people, so they have a route, because you can see it's kind of the way I've explained it in the course. It's like a spider's web, and if you imagine that Pinterest is in the center of that web, and you've got Etsy, eBay, Amazon, all the different SM platforms as well. They all can gauge traffic inside Pinterest, and you can redirect them flows wherever you want to go. And people's heads roll off with that, because they're like, well, if I can go wherever I want to go, I'm not used to this, because usually I'm told where to go. Because with Amazon, you put a listing on and you scale, and there's only one way to sort of do that with the algorithm. With this, there's 5 APIs working in unison, not one. And it is technically on a different scalable level, So, yeah, I would say we're trying our best at Pinformative Group to try and make this, to simplify it and make it streamlined for different markets, from Amazonians to Etsy. That's the key. So
the other thing,
are we only pinning to businesses?
You don't? No, not at all. I mean, that's a really good question, actually. And I'm not going to lie, it's one that I've not really gone into deep digging into, because we primarily have been going for businesses, because it's associated businesses that do what we do, and on the case studies that we've done. So I would say, you know, you can do, by the way, you can pin to other boards, because you've got to remember with the boards, it's not necessarily going to be a business. It doesn't work like that. It could be skiing is the interest. So it could be a mixed board of service pins, product pins, because service pins is people who sell services, not products. But I won't go into that one because I'm trying to answer one question at a time in my head. Sorry.
It's so
difficult.
confusing.
It really is. It really can be confusing. But like I said, we've made some sense out of it. Finally, we did make sense out of it. It took us months. It took us literally months. But it's a great question. I'd say that is not a problem. You can cross market to any board. Do remember, like I said, some people have really high traffic pins that don't have products on, that are idea pins. For example, you may have a top chef that's put an idea pin on there on a recipe. So say you're selling a spatula, would that not benefit you to be on that board? Of course it would. So that's not a business. That's just a top Michelin star chef that you're like, I need to get in there because I know if I get my product in there, I can scale because that guy's huge, you know? So it's, yeah, it's a good question. And yeah, it doesn't have to be a business. It can be a multitude of different angles, basically. So.
Because Matt, yeah, I did. Mine is based around sort of product research, and what I was going to say to you is that what we've seen so far, if, for instance, I am looking, or I'm stuck and I'm looking for sort of products, okay, Pinterest has always been, for me, a good way to go and look at, you know, sort of inspiration, so to speak.
Yeah.
You were just saying about putting an idea board up there. So if I've, for instance, I'm looking, or I'm thinking of a certain product line, I could put an idea board based around those product lines and then get ideas or inspiration back. So I've got it. Yeah. Okay. So I've got
that's
that
brilliant.
One right. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. That's exactly the point. And that's why I'm saying, you know, one of the questions that I spoke to Megla about previously to this, you know, this cast was how you can warm up an audience before, you know, before your stock arrives, for example. You know, I think that's a really important one for you guys, because if you've got these problems, I know there's a huge thing going on in the background with containers and all this kind of stuff going on. But say somebody's waiting, would it be great if you can keep them engaged until it arrives without having to actually say, well, sorry, our product's not here. Just maybe, you know, a competition or anything, you know, just anything that would engage the audience. And that's why you could be creative with idea pins and just keep them there until you're ready to release your products. Basically,
absolutely, yeah, I get that one. Awesome.
So Christine is asking 5 APIs. Can you explain what they do?
Okay, so yes, I can, but I'll make it short because I don't want to bore. Probably, I've been told I'm boring. Marie's told me that the technical talk that I speak is nobody understands, which I completely understand. So I'll try not to go overboard with too much tech talk. But what I would say is one of the most important APIs of all is the one that's aimed at the image algorithm. I've made a really strong point on this because unlike other marketplaces, your image, Pinterest optimized image, is the most important factor to scale on Pinterest. Now, people put keywords in there, they put the hashtags in there, you know, but the actual image itself is read by a really intelligent image algorithm. And if you can make sure that your image is optimized for Pinterest, what I mean by that is make it vibrant. Lifestyle images aren't the best. You know, you're going to come from Amazon. I know that lifestyle images are great, but it's not about that. You've got to have vibrant, sharp colors to the point, and also ensure that it is relevant to the interest as well. It's almost like if you take an image, you need to put as many keywords in that image as you can of what you're photographing in relevance to your description. And that's the main API that you need to focus on. The rest of them is kind of like you've got one API running with the keywords, you've got one running with the scalability, you've got one running where you've got potential for viral. You know, all these different APIs have different types, kind of different things happening. Because what what I will explain is that, in simplified terms, is that people see or have seen Pinterest as a social media platform. It's not. It started as a marketplace, actually, in 2009. It was actually a marketplace, and people were leaving things in the cart, and they were leaving things of interest that they were interested in. And so people, the guys, the engineers at Pinterest said, oh, they're leaving them there. They're pinning stuff. Oh, pinning. Oh, interests. Oh, let's do boards. So it was actually a marketplace. And then what's happened from that, what's evolved, is that now you've got this place where the stock isn't kept there. So no stock involved, really, in regards to if it's suspended, it's okay. You're not going to get your stock kept there. I think that's a really important thing for people to understand. And also, you do have the potential to sell on there because you've got buyable pins, and that's on one of the APIs. So you can actually, if you had a Shopify store, I know it's not Amazon, but if you had a Shopify store, because I think Amazon may eventually do this with Pinterest. That's just a guess, by the way. You can buy through a pin on a buyable pin with a button that says buyable, pull the stock on API from Shopify, and you never leave the platform. So basically, you're buying through a pin, and the conversion rate in America on testing is 50% higher than a standard pin on conversion with sales, which I think is huge. Because if you've already got the interest there, and you're doing, like going back to camper van, and you put a buyable pin on there, you don't even leave the platform. You just click the button and you're buying. You don't even care where it's coming from, because it could be coming from Amazon, eBay, wherever. At the moment, Shopify, I know WooCommerce aren't doing it. I think BigCommerce are. But I know that Shopify and Amazon recently, they schismed a little bit because they had something going on with regards to the connection. So what I'm thinking is, would it be interesting if Amazon did that with a buyable pin? Potentially, you know? I don't know. I'm just making assumptions, but these things are happening. Yeah, but one key thing I would say that you need to be careful of with it needs to be especially attentive to is the image when you put it on Pinterest. And forget everything you know with Amazon and eBay. Try and do a bit of research, or we've done things on our course on how the image should be optimized through Tailwind, or there's other, you can do it on Photoshop if you're savvy with that kind of thing. But just make sure that your image is Pinterest friendly, basically. So
right.
Yeah, there you go.
So buyable pins. And so how do you get buyable pins? So if you're selling on Amazon currently, you can't do buyable pins, right? I mean, that's
No,
only for
unfortunately.
Shopify. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's for Shopify, BigCommerce, Magento. I'm trying to think of. I think there's another one. I'm sorry, I'm not too sure, but yeah, I think they're the three main ones at the moment. But yeah, I mean, you've got rich pins as well. You've got rich pins. So rich pins, if you have, and I'm talking to people who have also got an Amazon store and an affiliated store. So say you've got a website as well. What you can do with rich pins is bring in the metadata and it will connect for you. So if you've got a really good listing on your website and you connect it up with a rich pin, it will pull in the description and the images on metadata and keep it connected. So you don't actually have to list anything. You just kind of pin it across, and that will keep updated when you change your listing on your website. So that's a rich pin, and it's quite heavy on the Google SEO as well.
Right. What about Pinterest ads? So could you advertise on Pinterest to drive traffic to your listing? And how effective is that?
It's very effective. I mean, we've not predominantly gone for that at the beginning. We wanted to push the image algorithm to its max because obviously wanted to see, it's nice to see what's on the foundation before you start plowing stuff on top. So with regarding ads though, yes, it's a fantastic platform because it's kind of, I think in ratio, it's 33% cheaper than most platforms. So what you can do is redistribute your advertising campaigns, and it doesn't damage any of the markets in my eyes, because what you can do is create longevity in clients rather than kind of the traffic warden hit and run, ideology of let's just put as much as we can on Amazon at the highest click ratio. Why not think of maybe doing it on Pinterest, redirecting that flow, and then that capital that's free, put it on other products on your Amazon store that could potentially redistribute across the board, if that makes sense. So it's kind of, I would say it's a good place to advertise if you want to try and redistribute your ads capital, because it gives you a chance to maybe free things up if it works. That's what we found anyway. So from research, I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, kind of. So guys, let us know if you have any questions for Matt, Marg, and Kevin. What do you guys think? Marg, are you there? Or your connection's pretty unstable today. Both of you are going in and out, and Kevin, you're muted.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's like we got it. There's a big thunder and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, no, I keep fading in and out all the time.
Yeah. So, Matt, just going back a bit. So, how does someone, for example, from Amazon, transfer their products across to, just simply send their products across to Pinterest from Amazon?
I have done a video which is in our group on Facebook, but basically
Oh,
all you
excellent,
need to do, I mean, I can say that, if you want to come across, there's a video in the media section of our Facebook which shows you how to pin an item from Amazon to Pinterest. It's just a question of pinning it across. I mean, obviously, if you've got 800 products, it could take you a while. But then once they're on, you don't have to. It could take you a while, but
could take a while.
Yeah. But the thing is, once you've done that, you leave it. And one thing that people don't consider, which is a huge deal in my eyes, is that at any point, one of your pins has a potential to go viral. So either you left it there and something becomes popular, suddenly you might get an excessive amount of sales through 3 pins, which are relevant to that influx. And if it was never there, you'll never know. That's what I say to people. So why not leave it there? Because it's not costing you anything unless you want to apply ads, basically.
Right. So guys, let us know if you have any questions for Matt. Matt, is there anything else that you want to cover? I mean, of course, this is such a broad topic, but anything else about building a warm audience before your product lands in Amazon? So you touched upon a couple of points over there, but what are some other ways to build a warm audience?
I'm just aware that I'm thinking my partners are probably really upset with me because I'm really tired. So I'm thinking as much as I can. So I'm apologizing now. I'm just trying to think of other ways at the moment because there's so many. I'm trying to give one that's viable for your audience. I would say the one thing I didn't touch upon then, which was I think of importance, is like now we're on we're on StreamYard, but there's a lot of people on Facebook and Instagram, and I think that and people on Instagram are pushing products in a multitude of places, including Amazon, everywhere basically. So I would say what you've got going for you there is that you can actually do another thing of you've got a 1:1 ratio square pin, which comes in from Instagram. You could pin across everything. I think there's a few companies that do that on autonomy, and they will pull all of your Instagram account across and put it on Pinterest for you. You could do that in associated boards and then put your products in them boards with your Instagram pins as well. So that's one thing I would add to that, is that you've got other social media possibilities, and you can do Facebook Pixel, use that as a landing page. I do think that Instagram's a big one because there's a lot of people that make money through Instagram these days that I think is sidetracked. And I think that anyone out there that's got Instagram, it can be a really lucrative play for you to go to Pinterest and connect that up. And that would help people in the Amazon community as well, because obviously, like I say, it's all connected. I'm trying to think of anything else. Sorry, I really am. I think that's a big one though that people they under capitalize on, because I think that so many people have Instagram accounts now, and Facebook. I mean, Facebook, you can put links on Facebook in your pins, things like that, or cross-platform them. You can do service pins as well. That's something I've not covered. So you could offer a service. Oh, actually, this is actually a big one. So say you're selling hair straighteners, for example, and you have a service as well. So say you actually are a hairdressing company. There's nothing to stop you putting your service on there as well to promote your products and vice versa. And that's called a service pin. So you can sell your services through a pin as well. So if you've got a business and you've kind of got your products on there and you think it's affiliated, then why wouldn't you want to sell your services as well? Because the more people that are on them services, the more product you'll sell, probably more than likely, actually. Yeah, I'm trying my best to think of more, even though there's probably loads.
So this is Andy. He's saying one of the awesome things with Pinterest is that it has a long life than any of the other adverts. Long life, unlike other adverts like Facebook or Twitter. Yeah, so it's kind of evergreen, and your pins don't. Your pins don't kind of vanish into the black hole. Like on Facebook, a post's lifespan is what, like 2 hours or something. Tweet is 30 seconds, 2 minutes, but a pin stays forever, and it, you always see a lot of older pins coming up in search results as well.
Well, predominantly the market is 80% female driven, especially in the US. Now, the thing is, ladies like to share common interests. We've found, they like to talk about things, and you can have something potentially go viral because you've got one mother who shares something on chatting in the school playground, and suddenly all the mums share it, and you've got a viral pin. So you've got that aspect of what you could have with TikTok as well. My sister's got, I think, like 150,000 followers on TikTok, and I've had arguments with her, active arguments about which is better, Pinterest or TikTok, because the problem I found, which I think, and this is my opinion, but I think that going forwards, TikTok has one flaw, and Snapchat that Pinterest has a positive over, is that you've only got one viewport, you've only got one responsive screen at a time. So my argument is how much will that one screenshot be worth in the future to hit that person? It could be millions if it's a really lucrative item. Whereas with Pinterest, what you could have is 10 boards with, for example, 5 pins that are pinned to products on Amazon, and they are, for example, connected to something with a Q4 Christmas item, and all 5 of them could go viral, not just one item at once. So you've got the potential for a multi-viral occurrence happening, which is an interesting concept for me, because you're not sort of streamlined just to one viewport, basically. So yeah, right. That's
Marie is here, and she's saying, I don't think we'll be manually pinning your 400,000 ASINs.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Video pins, yeah. Tell us about that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Marie. I knew there was something. That's probably the biggest. That's probably the biggest thing that I've missed, to be quite honest. So with being a background in multimedia, and moving imagery, it's probably a good idea to speak about video pins. So yeah, video pins. They carry the most weight. I mean, video algorithms at the moment carry a lot of weight on Google with YouTube, and you've got all these different angles, and the video pins on Pinterest are king. End of story. Queen and king. And if you can potentially create a video with your products, you're more than likely going to scale up. Plus, I call it disturbing the user. So does Marie. So when you're scrolling down on the Pinterest market, especially from a desktop view, a video captures your attention over an image straight away. And I think that's a really important part, a really important point to make to the audience, is that if you have the capacity to create, I think the sweet spot is 12 to 14 second hit with a video, and you've got your products underlined on the description, that's a killer. That works really well. We found that we've been pinning hundreds, if not thousands, of videos since August, and we've found that they have the biggest sort of attentive conversion than any other pin on Pinterest. So if you've got a video, because I know that videos are getting larger play on Amazon, I think DSP as well, with that kind of thing, they've got more intricate things going on in the background from what I've seen recently with videos. So they're working really hard on creating a usability with videos on Amazon. It's important that you realize that it's equally, if not more important, on Pinterest to pull people across. The other thing is with video pins is that obviously you've got to be considerate that your keywords match up with what's in the video, because you've got a video at 25 frames per second, and it takes every frame as like like the image algorithm. Sorry, going back, the image algorithm takes every frame as readable. So if you've got products within that video, that's super important, that's relevant to your pin. Otherwise, it could be a really abstract video that captures the attention, which is a good idea, but it has no relevance or bears no relevance to the keywords. So that's one thing I would say be really, really careful of if you do a short video, is that it's relevant and has keyword relevance to your descriptions as well and metadata. So
awesome. That sounds very interesting. So Matt, we'll start wrapping up here. Do you want to tell us a bit about your course? So I've also got the URL scrolling at the bottom of the screen, pinformative.com. So you've got, it's a very, very comprehensive course. I was taking a look at it earlier, and you've also got a discount running. So maybe just tell us about that too.
So at the moment we've got a 90% discount. We've done that so that it can meet all audiences, because we're actually trying to help KDP, because we believe there's a huge market for books and direct Kindle and all that kind of stuff, and also merch. So it comes from different angles, but there's a PDF, a downloadable PDF with the schedule on our learning portal. And it is an active course. We didn't want to wait for the 8 to 9 weeks that it would take to create it. So it's an active course with 2 live webinars with myself for 2 hours. And what we're trying to do is tackle every marketplace and offer, offer solutions for people like today of how you could streamline your process that'll help you scale on the Pinterest platform. So that's what we're doing. It's a beginner to intermediate course. We will do an advanced course in the future, but the beginner to intermediate, I would say, can become quite advanced anyway, because obviously it's a new thing for a lot of people. So we're trying to guide people with the hand and help them to get from A to B on how they can adapt their marketplace like Amazon, So yeah, that's it really.
Right. Awesome. That sounds fantastic. Marg and Kevin, anything else before we sign off? And Kevin, you're muted.
Yeah, no, I just reckon it sounds very in depth. Anybody that's wanting to go down that track, well, hey, that's a great course to sort of learn. And you've opened my eyes to a couple of little tips and tricks there tonight. Thank you.
Brilliant. No, thanks for having me.
I think you really need to do a course. It seems to involve a lot involved.
Yeah, I don't do things.
Really.
I've been told that my dad always said to me, if it's difficult, it's usually worth doing, because no one else wants to do it. So for some reason now that's embedded in me, and I seem to do everything difficult, and I don't know why. But there you go. So yeah, but I am enjoying it, because it's kind of like I said, it's where I've come from with multimedia, and you can see with Pinterest, it is a multimedia kind of backdrop compared to a lot of the SM platforms.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So Christine is asking, does it cover ads, your course?
It does, yeah, and it also covers affiliated. We've got one more thing I'll add. If you go to the ebook section on our site, you can do an opt-in where we're delivering a free ebook every month, and at the moment it's about affiliated traffic from Pinterest. So you can actually just opt in with your email. There's no ties. You may get the odd email from us saying, do you want this? Do you want to sign up? But other than that, every month we are releasing a ebook courtesy of Marie's content, and compiling that and getting that out basically. So yeah, that is one thing at the moment. I would say, if you want to look at affiliated marketing, there's a free ebook on our site right now. All you have to do is opt in, and you can download it. So yeah,
sounds awesome. Well, thank you so much, Matt, for your time today and for sharing a lot of this information about Pinterest. I'm sure a lot of people will be interested in this. And guys, you can also join their Facebook group. So I posted the link in the comments, but you can also just search for Pinformative on Facebook. So I can't find the link to sign up for it. So the link is pinformative.com. Let me just display it on the screen real quick. And I've also posted it in the comments. So, but here's the link, pinformative.com.
I'm just getting the
yeah. So Christine, you're on YouTube. If you just look through the comments, maybe the comment below yours, it should be there, or just above yours. Yeah, above your comment, you should see the link. I posted it there, pinformative.com. Just click on the link.
Brilliant.
Cool.
Thank you.
Wait, she says on the home page, there's no link to sign up. Oh, there's no link to sign up on the home page. Wait, there's a
There
link
is
right
at
at
the
the
top.
top.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If,
right at
if,
the
if,
top. Mhm.
if you just go to the on the right hand side, if you just see the e-learning portal, if you click on the course, you can sign up that way. So that's, yeah, you can do it that way. So go to the e-learning and then the learning portal top link, and then just click on the beginner intermediate course, and you can do it that way. There you go. So it's at the top there, sign up now on the right hand side. Or you can go on learning
So
portal.
it's here, right?
Yeah.
So once you click on sign up now, then it goes to, oh, I guess it's not sharing now. It opens in a new window. Okay, but there's the link. Yeah, right at the top of the page, Christine.
I don't like seeing
But it
myself in a
doesn't
picture like
go
that.
anywhere.
Terrible.
That's a very creative picture. But Christine is saying
if
it
you just-
doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it should do. I'll check it anyway, but it should do. But if you click on learning portal, that'll take you through anyway. But I'll check
No,
it
but
out. It should do.
I've just clicked on it, Christine, and it takes me to, yeah, welcome to the Pinformative Learning Portal. And then if you go down, it says start here, Pinformative, Pinterest, beginner and intermediate course. And then it goes to the course website. So there are about 3 clicks. And then you've got, oh, then it says you're unauthorized to view this page, but there's no way to sign up. She's right. There's no place to sign up over here. Wait, I'm just going to unshare my screen and share the other one. So it's just taking me to the, yeah, it goes to a page that won't let you in. Yes, that's exactly what
It might be. Just 1 second. I just spoke to an engineer who's updating it. I'm going to kill him. If you give me 3.5 minutes, I'll have that sorted. But I've got an engineer updating it right now.
Yes,
I can't believe he's doing
so
that right now. Brilliant. Great timing. Of all the
that's
times
where
that you
we
had
get.
to do that.
Oh, well.
Fantastic, eh? Well, no, at least I know what it is. I'm going to have a word with him now. But yeah, well, honestly, the thing is with this, we're doing so many updates. The thing is with Pinterest, they're doing so many updates that, for example, about 3 weeks ago, everybody had a drop in the algorithm because they're updating it. Because if you go back to when Amazon was established and eBay, the same thing happened where the algorithm was in its infancy in Q4, and you had a lot of erraticness happening. So I should get it for brilliant. Yeah. So yeah, if you give me 2 minutes, I'll get that sorted. I think.
Awesome. Great. Well, Matt, thank you so much for your time today. Really wonderful.
Yeah.
I really
chatting with
appreciate
you.
it. It's been brilliant. Really enjoyed it.
Great.
You've had some really, really good, probably the best questions yet on this cast. I've really enjoyed it. So I really appreciate it.
Great. All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, guys, for joining us. And we will see you this Friday.
Thank you, Matt. Lovely to meet you.
You too.
We've got
Thank
a
you very
virtual
much.
India Sourcing Show episode coming up this Friday. So we'll see you then. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thanks very much.